Hello everyone, my name is Tanu Rajput and I came up here with my next task for on terrorism, exploratory data analysis. Here what I have to do as a security and defense analyst, the main objective is to find out the hot zone of terrorism. So let's come on the project. I am Tanu Rajput from January 2023 batch of graduate rotational internship program. So here is the task and our main objective is to find out the hot zone of terrorism. So firstly, I have to load all the libraries, importing all the libraries which are required for the project in future, like NumPy, Pandas to load dataset, Matplotlib, and Seaborn for visualization. Now, let's import and observe the data. I load the data by using Pandas library and read CSV because I have the data in CSV format. I also encode it into Latin 1 instead of UTF-8 encoding. So here let's speaking into the 5 rows of the data, and here we can see that we have 135 columns, and which there are so many columns which are not required for the project. So we will handle this data set by dropping them or just by selecting the required columns. So firstly, let's see the data set information. Here we can see that as we have 135 columns, so we can't see the data type and missing values and unique values for all the columns, but as we can see that there are huge data which are missing, and also we have some unique, like in each column we have their unique values and also their data types. So it's time to clean data. Here firstly, we have a lot of irrelevant columns, so we need to select only required column for analysis. So I select some among all, and which are I year, I month, I day, country txt, region text, pro state, city, latitude, longitude, location, summary, attack type 1 text, target type 1 text, g name, motive, weapon type text, and kill, and wound, add notes. So we can see that the names of the column are like messy, they messed up, so we have to rename them. So as I done here, I rename I year to year, I month to month, I day to day, and so on. So here I renamed all the column, and again I will check information. So I can see that I choose 19 columns here which are important and which are required for data analysis for terrorism. Here we have their data types, we have all the missing values and their unique values. So now it's time to check that how much data we have which is null. So we can see that we have a lot of data, a lot of rows as null, so we can't drop them. So what we will do, we just simply replace them by 0. So here are the unique values for each columns, and we can see that we have data from the year 1970 to 2070 on which we have to perform analysis to find out the hot zones. Here are the name of countries in which there was a terror attack, or there was a lot of terror attack, and their reason, their state and province, their cities, latitude, longitude, their location, some summary, what was the attack type, like that was host taking, like kidnapping, or either it was bombing, or it was hijacking, or an armed assault, hostage like what type of attack it was, and what was the target type, like it was targeted to private citizens and property, or it was targeted to government, or it was targeted to journalists and media, police, and so on. And what was their group name, like Manodi, 23rd of September Communist League, Fatoni Warriors, minorities of metropolitan attacks, and etc. What was the motive of the attack? Like to protest the Cairo, Illinois police department, to protest the war in Vietnam and the draft. So here we in this column we have the motive of the attack, motive of the terror. Here is the weapon type, like what type of weapon was used in terror, like explosives, incendiary, firearms, chemicals, and vehicles, fake weapons, and biological. What was the type of? Here are the number of counts of the killed, and here are the number of counts, unique values, like for wounds, and also add note. So here are the unique values, and here we have this rows and 19 columns, and a lot of missing values are present, which we have to handle them by replacing zero. So handling missing value in killed and wounded columns, and also we will create a new column, casualty, from both the columns, like from killed and wounded column. So when we join killed and plus wounded, both are called casualty. So after creating a new column, let's take a look on the data after replacing null values and creating a new column. Here we have casualty. Let's see the description of data. Here is a description of data set, and the data consists of terrorist activities ranging from the year 1970 to 2017. Maximum number of people killed in an event were 1570. Maximum number of people wounded in an event were 8191, and the maximum number of total casualties in an event were 9574. So now it's time to explore the data visually. So firstly, what we will do, we will see all the killed, wounded, attacks, and casualty with respect to years. So firstly, let's count the values of year. We have most of the attacks after 2010. We have a lot of attacks, terror attacks, after 2010 to 2017, and then it just dropped after 2015 or 2013 12. Then most number of attacks in 2014 and least number of attacks in 1971. What we observe from this chart is that most number of attacks in 2014 and least number of attacks in 1971. So let's see year wise wounded, year wise killed, and year wise casualty. So here we can see that year wise wounded, in the year, like in year 2013 to 2016, we have most of the wounded, and in the year 2013, we have in year 2014, we have we have higher count of killed in terror attack in 2014, and then in year wise casualty, in again in year 2014 we have higher casualty. In 2014 we have higher kills and higher wound. So now let's see the killed, wounded, attacks, and casualties with respect to region. For before that, let's count the values for each region. So we have Middle East and North Africa. has the higher number of value counts. So let's see the reason why is wounded. So we can see that higher wounded was in Middle East and North Africa, and higher killed again in Middle East and North Africa, and higher casualty again in Middle East and North Africa. So here we have country-wise killed, wounded, attacks, and casualties. So before going on that, firstly let's count the values for each country, and here we can see that in Iraq and Pakistan we have the higher counts. So let's see killed, wounded, and casualty for each country. So we have higher wounded in Iraq and higher killed again, I think again in Iraq, and also higher casualty in Iraq. So here was the city wise. Here is the city wise killed, wounded, and casualties. Before going on that, I will count the values for all the cities. So here we have some unknown city which I don't know, which we don't know, like what was there. So we will just drop them. We will not consider those. And here on top we have Baghdad, which have the higher number of records with respect to killed, wound, and casualty. So, city wise wounded, let's see cities. Baghdad has higher count of wounded, higher count of killed, and also higher count of casualty. So, here Baghdad is on top. And a terrorist group wise attack, like which terrorist group attack on like which like has terrorist group has the highest killed, wounded, and attack. So here we can see that a group named Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant is ISIL have the higher number of wounded, and also higher number of killed, and higher number of casualties. Let's take a look on to attack type wise killed, wounded, attack, and casualty. So before that, what we will do is let's count the value for all the attack types. So we can see that we have the higher count for bombing and explosion. So we can clearly see that the way the terrorist used mostly bombing attack type. So here we can see that attack type like in bombing explosion have higher wounded, higher killed in again bombing and armed assault and bombing explosion, and then higher casualty in bombing explosion. Now let's see with respect to target type we have mostly who was targeted in a terrorist attack. In a terrorist attack, private citizens and property always targeted higher. Then here we can see that target wise killed, wounded, and casualty. Here, like target wise, private citizen and property have a higher wound, and also higher kills and higher casualty again. So after it we will see that which group have a higher wounded, higher attacks, and higher killed and casualties. So here we can see that Taliban group of Afghanistan country have the higher count, like 7423. So here we can see that higher wounded for ISIL. For ISIL we have higher count for ISIL group, and we have here are some ropes, and here are the group names, country with respect to killed, wound, casualty. And here, like, humanity affected worldwide by terrorist attacks from 1970 to 2070. So here, like, total number of wounded, total number of killed, total number of casualty due to terrorist attack from 1970 to 2017 across the world are, like, total number of wounded are 8, and total number of kills are these, and total number of casualty are these. So here is all the visual, all the analysis. Now after presenting the data visually, I found out some conclusion, and the conclusion are here, like, year wise attacks. So first one, attacks, like, most number of attacks are in 2014, which is 16,903, and least number of attacks in 1971, which is 471. And with respect to casualties, we have a most number of casualties again in 2014, and least number of casualties in 1971. Most number of people killed in 2014, and least number of people killed in 1971. So here is the insights I found from the project. I hope you like my explanation. Thank you.